The Little Dragon Who Loved Rain. Once upon a time, in the Emerald Valley of Willowmere, there lived a tiny dragon named Dewdrop. Dewdrop was unlike any other dragon in the valley. While his brothers and sisters soared high in the sky, breathing gentle puffs of smoke and basking in the sun, Dewdrop would sit quietly at the edge of the pond, gazing at the sky, waiting for the clouds to gather. Most dragons loved the sunshine. They would stretch their wings, letting the golden rays warm their scales and chase butterflies through the open fields. But Dewdrop loved something else, something that made him feel alive, joyful, and a little bit special. Dewdrop loved the rain. The first time Dewdrop saw the rain, he was just a hatchling. A gentle drizzle began to fall, and all the other dragons scampered indoors, grumbling about wet wings and muddy claws. Dewdrop, however, stayed outside. He watched as the raindrops danced on the surface of the pond, making tiny ripples that shimmered like jewels. He felt the cool drops tickle his nose and slide down his back. He twirled and spun, feeling lighter than air, as if he could float away with the clouds. From that day onward, Dewdrop waited eagerly for rainy days. He loved the sound of the rain tapping on the leaves, the way the grass glistened with tiny pearls of water, and the way the earth smelled fresh and new. He especially loved the rainbows that sometimes appeared after a storm, arching across the sky like bridges to magical lands. But not everyone understood Dewdrop's love for the rain. The other young dragons teased him, calling him Soggy Scales and Rainy Tail. They didn't see why anyone would want to get wet and muddy when they could soar in the sun. Dewdrop felt a little lonely sometimes, but he couldn't help how he felt. The rain made his heart sing. One day, as Dewdrop sat beneath a willow tree waiting for the clouds to roll in, he heard a quiet sobbing nearby. Curious, he followed the sound and found a small, fluffy rabbit with ears drooping and tears in her eyes. "Why are you crying?" Dewdrop asked softly, careful not to frighten her. The rabbit sniffled and wiped her nose. "The river is too high. My family's burrow is flooded, and we have nowhere to go." Dewdrop's heart ached for the little rabbit. He knew how scary the rain could be when it came too quickly and too hard. He thought for a moment and then had an idea. "Come with me," Dewdrop said gently. He led the rabbit to a big hollow log at the edge of the pond. It was dry inside, sheltered from the rain. "You can stay here until the water goes down. I'll bring you some leaves and berries to eat." The rabbit's eyes sparkled. "Thank you, Dewdrop. You're very kind." Dewdrop beamed. He realized that the rain, while beautiful, could also cause problems for others. He wanted to help, to make rainy days safer and happier for everyone. As the days passed, more and more forest animals came to Dewdrop for help. A family of mice needed a dry place to sleep. A bird's nest had fallen from a tree, and a hedgehog was lost in the mud. Dewdrop used his small wings to carry twigs and leaves, built cozy shelters, and guided lost animals back to their homes. He even learned to use his warm dragon breath to dry wet fur and feathers. The other young dragons began to notice. They watched as Dewdrop helped the animals, making friends and spreading kindness wherever he went. They saw how the animals trusted him, how they smiled and laughed even on the rainiest days. One afternoon, as the clouds gathered and the first drops began to fall, the other dragons approached Dewdrop. "We want to help too," said Ember, the bravest of his siblings. "Can you show us how?" Dewdrop's eyes lit up. Together they gathered sticks and leaves, built little shelters for the animals, and made sure everyone was safe and dry. They played in the puddles, splashing and giggling, and even learned to enjoy the rain. As the storm passed, and a brilliant rainbow stretched across the sky, the dragons and their new friends gathered by the pond. Dewdrop felt a warm glow inside, a feeling even better than the sun on his scales. He realized that loving the rain was a gift, one that could be shared. From that day on, the dragons of Willowmere didn't hide from the rain. They danced and played, helped their friends, and discovered new adventures in every storm. And Dewdrop, the little dragon who loved the rain, led the way, with kindness, courage, and a heart as bright as a rainbow. The seasons changed, and Dewdrop grew stronger and wiser. he learned to listen to the raindrops, to understand when a gentle shower would help the flowers bloom, or when a heavy storm might need extra care for the animals and plants. He became known as the Rain Watcher, a friend to all in Willowmere. One spring morning, as the mist hung low over the valley, Dewdrop noticed something unusual. The air was heavy and still, and the clouds seemed darker than ever before. The birds flew low, and the frogs croaked nervously by the pond. Dewdrop's mother, a wise old dragon named Seraphina, landed beside him. "Something is coming, Dewdrop," she said gently. "A great storm. We must prepare." Dewdrop's heart beat fast, but he remembered his promise to help others. He gathered the dragons together and shared his plan. "We need to warn everyone," Dewdrop said. "We can help the animals find shelter and make sure the stream doesn't flood." The dragons split up, flying through the forest, calling out to their friends. Dewdrop led a group of animals to a safe hilltop, away from the river. Ember and the others built strong shelters from branches and leaves, and Seraphina guided the older animals to higher ground. As the first thunder boomed and the rain began to pour, Dewdrop stayed with his friends, offering comfort and courage. "It's okay," he told the trembling rabbit. "The rain will pass and we're safe together." The storm raged all night, with lightning flashing and winds howling. But Dewdrop and the dragons stood watch, keeping everyone safe and warm. When morning came, the sun peeked through the clouds, and the valley sparkled with fresh rain. The animals cheered, and the dragons hugged Dewdrop. "You were brave and wise, Dewdrop," said Ember. "You helped us all." Dewdrop smiled, his heart full of joy. He knew that loving the rain wasn't just about playing in puddles or watching rainbows. It was about caring for others, working together, and finding beauty and hope even in the stormiest times. As the years passed, Dewdrop's love for the rain inspired everyone in Willowmere. The dragons and animals worked together to plant new trees, dig little channels to guide the water, and build cozy homes for all to share. Rainy days became times for stories, songs, and laughter, and every rainbow reminded them of the little dragon who had brought their valley together. And so, Dewdrop's story was told to every new hatchling and every little animal who came to Willowmere. They learned that being different was a gift, that kindness could change the world, and that even the smallest dragon could make the biggest difference, especially on a rainy day. One evening, as the stars twinkled above and the pond glistened with the memory of rain, Dewdrop sat with his friends, old and new. The air was filled with the soft hum of crickets and the gentle splash of frogs. Dewdrop looked around at the happy faces and felt a deep sense of peace. "I'm glad I love the rain," he whispered. And somewhere, high above, a new rainbow began to form, arching across the sky in colours more brilliant than ever before, a promise of hope, friendship, and the magic that comes from being true to yourself. Far beyond Willowmere, tales of Dewdrop, the little dragon who loved rain, spread to other valleys and forests. Young dragons everywhere began to look forward to rainstorms, eager to help their friends and discover the wonders of the world when the clouds gathered. The spirit of Dewdrop's kindness and courage grew, like a gentle rain blessing the earth, bringing new life and joy wherever it fell. And so, for all the children listening, remember the story of Dewdrop. When the rain falls, let your heart be light. Dance in the puddles, help those in need, and never be afraid to love what makes you different. Because sometimes the smallest dragon can change the world. One raindrop at a time. The end.